Hello, YouTube. For reasons unknown to me, the first 10 minutes of gameplay from this video are choppy. I do apologize, but it does clean up after that 10-minute mark. Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of RaiderIO's weekly No Leaver. I'm your host, Sean. Today, I'm joined by Megasett. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Meg, I'm going to start with the number one question that has been on everybody's mind for weeks now. What is up with the cows?
The cows. They gave them an enclosure on the last beta build. It's not on live right now, but they have a little trough and water area, and then they're friendly now, so you can't kill them anymore, which I appreciate.
That's good. That's good. How did you figure out that because you were like herding them and like moving around with them, like you were interacting? These are your pets now.
Yeah, so when they're critters, you can take critter bites. It's a wrath recipe, and I don't think there's a cap on how many you can have, but you can just throw the critter bites at the cows and they'll start following you because they're classified as critters.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Is there like a grand scheme? Like what's the end goal for the cows? Is there a plan?
No plan, just
Nope.
vibes.
Just vibes.
I would like
love it.
to maybe try to get them into the house somehow, but I haven't figured that out yet.
Ooh. Okay, we need to make that happen. Now I did speak to one of the devs, and they did say that having like pets, our battle pets, be able to walk around freely in our house is on their plan of things they want. They just have to solve collision first.
Oh yeah, I could see that being a problem.
So once we solve that, it's a small step from pets to cows. So
I mean, it's right there. Yeah.
yeah.
There's some cow pets. I think they just use the old model.
Oh yeah. We'll make it happen. Old model cows, new model cows. We want all the cows. Let's
every single one.
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about housing. It just launched. It's the new hotness. How are you enjoying Blizzard's newest feature?
I'm having, we were talking a little bit before, but I'm having way more fun with it than I thought that I was going to. Like I knew that I would enjoy it, but I didn't think I would get as into it as I am.
What
So
what
really
is
exciting.
it that like is grabbing you the most?
I think that I'm excited to have a place that I can go and hang out while we're like waiting for raid or anything that's just not running around the major city, whatever it happens to be that expansion. It's kind of like the running circles around Ouroboros or running circles around the fountain. There's just a new place to do that. Change of scenery.
Yeah, I love it. Are you a one style house main, or are you somebody who's going to have like 30 different rooms?
I'm not sure yet. The only thing I ended up building on beta was a kitchen and pantry area. And that's all I have on live right now, but I'm thinking I am going about it wrong. I think I need to do the whole floor plan first and then decorate everything. So I might have to end up redoing all of it.
I like that. Is the housing deeply personal for you, or is this stream content that we're going to get?
Probably both. I could see myself doing it off of stream quite a bit.
Nice. I love that. So for anybody who's new to the show, what is Weekly No Leaver, you're asking? It's a lot like Hot Ones, but instead of wings, we're doing a dungeon. This one happens to be a 12 Dawnbreaker. Meg is healing and keeping me alive. Meg, let's find out about healing and why you got to Warcraft. Can you tell me about your journey and how you ended up as a Mistweaver main?
So I started playing when I was 8. I started with my dad and my brother. And my dad was playing a bear tank, and I was playing a resto druid, and my brother was a hunter. Because they had both picked, and they're like, well, we need a healer, and she's a girl, so, you know, she can heal. And that's kind of where the healing came from. And then I played super casually up until, like, BFA. And then I just picked up Monk one day. I had a lot of characters leveled, and a Monk was one of them, and I don't know.
Okay.
It was kind of just a chance.
Yeah, and you took it, you jumped on it. What is it? Because you're like, if I was to say our thing for the show, our teaser for the show was that it was a Mistweaver, you know, or someone coming from the mists. Anytime you say Mistweaver, and we're talking about Warcraft, you are the only name that comes to mind. What is it about Mistweaver that makes you not just choose it but stay with it?
I have been asking myself that a lot recently, given that the history and the power of the spec is not overly positive, I guess. There's definitely been a lot of rough patches that the spec has gone through. I think what keeps me coming back to it is that I really enjoy the combat side of things. Like I like the idea of being a healer that does damage conversion for damage to healing. I like that it's high APM, though that's not always the case. And then I get a little bit of variety between keys and raid playstyles because they tend to vary quite a bit. And it helps keep it a bit fresh compared to something that plays the same in all content.
Right. Which do you prefer? Which is your preference, Raid or Mythic Plus?
I definitely prefer the key playstyle. Sometimes there's overlap where they're like a Liberation of Undermine. They were pretty close, but the raid version kind of ended up being like a shell of what we did in Mythic Plus because there wasn't as much going on just because of tuning.
Right. It's fun watching you because you stream your content also, but you also do like guides and you like help to teach people. What was it that brought that along? Like when you were like, okay, I want to be a healer. I'm going to be a Mistweaver. I'm staying on this class. At what point did you say, I'm pretty good at this? Maybe I could help others be good?
So when I started writing the guides, it was like halfway or maybe a little towards the end of BFA. And I don't think, like looking back, I don't think I would have considered myself very good. And I think that if I were coming at it now, like if I was looking back at my old self, making the guides, I'm just like, why should I listen to this person? Like their IO isn't horribly high. They haven't been doing this for very long. Like why this one? Why should I trust this one? And I don't really have an answer because it was kind of just that I was the only one playing it because it wasn't very good. But I think part of it is just that there wasn't anyone else doing it. So I'm like, why not? And I had friends asking to stream because they're like, yeah, no one plays this spec. There's nothing to watch. So it might be interesting if people are looking to get into it.
It's true. Nobody plays it.
Yeah, and not really. Still don't really, but that's okay.
Which iteration of Monk has been your favorite?
For keys?
Yeah, well, let's do keys.
I like the current one. Like I like the playstyle, but our strongest season was definitely in Dragonflight. Like season 3 into 4. But it wasn't a very fun playstyle. Okay. It just happened to be strong. So that's when most people have seen it. Like if they have any experience playing with Mistweaver or playing as a Mistweaver, it's probably was Dragonflight, which kind of sucks because it was a really like two-dimensional version of the spec then. But I like it a lot right now.
Okay, what is it? Well, so you mentioned it was strong, but the playstyle wasn't great. So what type of playstyle is it that you're like looking for? That when you're digging your teeth in, what's your favorite? I
like when my healing is impactful, obviously. Whoops.
Oh no, I got you. Oh no, you released.
I did. I like when my healing is impactful, but I don't want my only healing to be from absorbs. Right. So right now, the absorbs don't do hardly anything at all. A lot of our healing hinges on amps, which requires planning ahead, which I do like. It's just a little bit too extreme right now. But I like the high APM. I like some degree of hot maintenance, like when they actually do something. I appreciate that. But most of it is just like rotating between all of the really short duration cooldowns that we have and being able to adjust on the fly when we have, something goes wrong or you end up pulling an extra pack. Being able to adjust with those cooldowns is really fun for me.
When sorry, we just had somebody just had threat there, and I was worried they were going to die.
All good.
Heading into just, I do want to talk about Midnight a little bit more detail, preferably when we're not struggling to maintain aggro. But what heading into Midnight, how does it look? Are we changing it up a lot, or is it similar to what it is now?
It's not too different. We got a lot of quality of life changes that was kind of high on people's priority list of why maybe they didn't like Monk. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the quality of life stuff that we've gotten for sure. The tuning isn't quite there, but I'm hoping we get a build today, so I'm hoping that will address some of it. Because I like the play style. I think that it's headed in the right direction.
That's good. We will, like I said, we will touch on. We'll touch a little bit more on Midnight later on. I am There was chat was letting me know that the video was stuttering. Chat, I don't know if it is still stuttering. It looks good on my end, and I don't have any dropped frames, so I'm not sure what the issue is. I did stop a recording to see if that helps. Yeah, but there's not really anything else I can do other than that. Everything else that's running, I need to have. Oh, it's working good now? Okay, so that worked. Solid.
Just a little hiccup. I think Twitch has been having problems too.
Yeah, we're gonna blame Twitch. It's definitely Twitch and not my PC.
Yep.
I love it. All right, I want to think a little bit into the guide writing and like some of the stuff that people don't really think about. So when we're talking about healing, what is like the most underrepresented or underrated thing that you think makes somebody a good healer?
Something I always try to tell people when they get into healing is that you're going to fail. Like you're going to mess up and people are going to die, and that is just the nature of the role. Is that, it's going to happen. But it is really important to learn, especially early on, when it actually is your fault, or when it's someone that stood in something or took a bunch of extra damage, or it was something that isn't realistic for you to counter as a healer. And I think that's the thing I try to drive home because I don't want people getting discouraged too early, because then they'll just, they'll never heal.
Okay. And how do you represent that in your guides? Like, does it just flat out say like, hey, it might not be your fault, be chill?
Yeah, and it depends, like on the dungeons mostly, where it's like Mistweaver had an issue a lot last season where there was a ton of one-shot checks, and we just don't really have tools for that. So there's people that are like, oh, why didn't you heal me? It's like, well, you got one shot and you didn't press anything, and I don't have tools to help keep you alive through that. So I don't really know what you want me to do about it. But it's kind of dependent on the dungeon pool. But also, like, generally a bunch of miss kicks is not going to be something that you're expected to heal through at a certain key level. So there's some specialized stuff.
Do you ever just want to reply with that image of the person who's just like, they're squinting with their hands up, like, what do you want?
Yeah. I've had that happen a few times where I'm just like, okay, all right, that's fine. I'll let you be mad at me, whatever helps you sleep at night.
That's great. Can you walk us through your guide creation process, like from start to finish? We're heading into a new season, so maybe how it looks from that perspective.
Yeah, usually I'll take what we've been playing all season and look and see if it is still viable, like if that's still something that we're going to be expecting to be a similar playstyle, both in keys and in raid. If it's not, we go over the changes and we look at, okay, why is this no longer an option? Did it get nerfed? Did it get reworked? Is something else suddenly better because of tuning or because of the dungeon pool maybe? So the changes is usually like the first thing that I look at. And then after that, it is kind of like it kind of depends on Blizzard, obviously, and what type of changes we are getting for dungeons or for class philosophy. So if I'm like, okay, well, suddenly we don't have, 6 healing amps to work with anymore, so that playstyle isn't going to be an option anymore. What did they give us instead? And how is that going to impact the gameplay and the viability of the spec?
Do you do the theory, like, do you handle theory crafting on your own, or are you going to...
Not too much.
No?
No, I wish I was a math person. I'm not. I've tried a few times, but I usually just end up asking the people that are good at math.
Right.
I'll say like, hey, numerically or like playstyle wise, this seems like it would be good. Is it good numerically? And then we'll talk about it. But I don't do too much of the math.
Do you ever advocate for playing a build that is less mathematically, like not as high mathematically, but that plays more fluidly?
Yeah, I could. A lot of conversation around Mistweaver is like, oh, I want to play something that only does casting. And while you can, it's not something that I recommend, because I think that if I'm writing a guide, I'm trying to set you up for success.
Right.
And I don't think that advocating to only use like half of your buttons is ever going to be my definition of success, but it could be for someone else. So
right.
I'll never do that probably. Things could change, but as of right now, I tend to go for numbers.
Okay. And that works. I mean, it obviously works because you yourself, you're one of like, there's only like a dozen people or something that have had title every season it's been available on one class. And you're one of them. Is that
Yeah.
like a feather in your cap? Do you like give yourself a pat on the back for that?
There's yeah, and it's something I'd like to keep going because there's been times like this season where I'm like, I am not really enjoying the season and the dungeons are kind of stale. Like it's just there's not a lot of people playing, but I do want to keep that streak going, so I'm still gonna play.
What you just blew my mind. Is there a world where you might not be the Mistweaver main? Like, are you going to play
Oh
something
no,
else?
I would still play Mistweaver. I just
Okay.
would not be playing WoW
Oh,
for
gotcha.
a couple months or whatever.
Okay. Oof.
I have been playing Windwalker though, and that has been fun to learn.
Okay. What if you let's say we're in a world where healing is just no more fun. You don't want to do it anymore and you had the DPS. Would it just be Windwalker? Would you just make that swap?
I'd give Windwalker a try, I think, because I do like having everything on one character, and my monk has most of my like account info, I guess. Like she has most things completed.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to play a DPS, I don't think that there's any DPS that I like as much as Mistweaver to the point where I would like force it to make it work, even if it's not very good.
Right.
And Windwalker doesn't have the best track record either for keys, so I would probably pick a meta DPS at that point.
Okay, that makes sense. Not necessarily married to the class, but finding what works best. Let's talk a little bit about Mistweaver not being a typical meta spec. What tips, if any, would you have for people who love Mistweaver and want to push high keys, but are having difficulty finding themselves in groups?
Finding a tank is always one of the hardest parts about keys, so I would recommend to find a tank that works well with Mistweaver, one that doesn't necessarily need externals as much as some others. And that's dungeon dependent on the amount and the frequency and the intensity of tank busters and class tuning, and that always changes quite a bit. But finding a tank is probably the best advice I could give, not just to healers, but to anyone trying to key.
Right.
It's just there's not many of them.
Yeah, any non-tank. Just find a tank.
Find a tank and just grab onto them and don't let go.
Yeah, I love that. For you yourself, do you do most of your keys in a set group or are you pugging?
I've been pugging a bit this season. Our tank for the past, like since Dragonflight, he quit. He had some real life like schooling and stuff going on. So we've been pugging around a little bit. One of our DPS has been playing tank for us, but it's been a little bit of a mixed bag this season for like who we're grouping with.
Right. Have you?
I do usually pug quite a bit, but this season just hasn't. I haven't really.
Gotcha. Do you think, like, is part of that this season itself that maybe it's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just Dawnbreaker, Priory, like Floodgate. We've seen these dungeons so many times,
Right.
and I do really like halls, but that's like the only one that I get excited to go do. So.
I wish we could have pulled the halls for you today.
Oh, it's fine. All good.
I too enjoy halls.
I just think it's a great dungeon. I don't know. Even with the changes that they made,
yeah,
I still just really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was so nervous at first when we were like, oh, we're not going to be able to mind control the gargoyles. I was like, oh no, we're going to be.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be bad.
Yeah, but it turned out to be okay. It turns out these game devs know what they're doing.
Sometimes, yeah. I like to keep them on their toes a little bit.
That's right. You got to keep them guessing. Like, okay, we're happy with this.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so we're getting ready. We're rounding up here. Speaking of rational, so you mentioned you liked halls a lot and the changes in there. What? Which dungeon in War Let's say War Within. Which dungeon has been your favorite so far?
For the War Within, like just the new dungeons or even the returning ones, if it was for
let's do all of them. Let's do all 3 seasons, any of the dungeons. I think that's fair.
What are the old ones? I actually have to look because I don't remember. I know it wasn't City. I think that's one of the worst ones that we've ever got.
Yeah. top. There's so many great choices in there.
I don't know.
Grim
I
Batal.
didn't dislike our car. I don't know. It might be Halls. I think Halls is one of my favorite keys.
Okay, I like
Just
that.
across the board, yeah.
Back in Shadowlands, was Halls one of your favorite in Shadowlands as well?
Yeah, Mistweaver had really good throughput in Shadowlands, but we did like no damage, which was kind of our problem. But in Halls, people were always like, "Oh my god, I feel so safe. Like my health bar is going up every shard, every AoE. I'm not even thinking about defensives or anything." Because it was, Mistweaver or Ashen Paladin, which only heals every 4 minutes. So it was nice to be like, yeah, I got that. I can heal
Yeah.
better than them that way.
Yeah, I can heal every minute and a half.
Yeah. Take that, Paladin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was like the only dungeon. That one and I guess Sanguine Depths were the only two where that was relevant.
That works. I like it. Halls is a great answer. You know, we're gonna lock that in because Halls is a lot of fun this season, and it was a lot of fun back then. So I think that's a good choice. I think that's definitely a good choice. Okay, I've been holding off. I've been trying to play it cool because you might not know this. I'm actually a pretty big fan of your Twitter feed for one specific type of post that you make, and I've been like, okay, we'll ease into it. We'll ask the questions about Warcraft that people want to hear, and then you can ask the question you want to know. I'd like to talk about your food posts and why they've slowed down.
Why they've slowed down?
Yeah, I'm gonna need more.
I've mostly, honestly, because I've been eating the same stuff. Like I go through cycles where I eat like the same thing for like a couple of weeks, and then I move on to something new.
Okay.
And I don't want to just post like the same thing over and over.
Or
I've been doing a lot of
alternatively,
tofu.
if you wanted like some direct feedback from a fan of the food posts, it would be okay.
Just the same thing.
Yeah.
I did make, actually, my boyfriend's gone for a few days this week and he doesn't like cooked fish, but I have a coconut braised cod that I really like, so I made that yesterday because he's not here. I do have a picture of that I can share.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think it's on my phone.
I'm a big fan of
it. It was
food.
really good.
Where did your love of food come from? Because you can tell that you love it.
Yeah, I used to have, I don't know how like deep into this we want to get.
Oh, let's get
I
deep.
was in sports for a long time, and then when I stopped, I was like, okay, I need to eat less because I'm not exercising nearly as much as I used to. But then it kind of like went too far, and in like 2019, I was like really skinny to the point where it was concerning. And I'm like, okay, I gotta fix this. So I figure instead of just eating like for volume to build muscle and whatnot, that I'm just going to eat less, but I'm going to eat things that I like more.
Okay.
Because they taste better.
Yep.
And that's kind of where that came from.
I
didn't think people were going to like the pictures because I'm not a food account, I'm a WoW account. And WoW viewers are very picky. So I wasn't really sure, but I'm glad that people like it.
It's true. They are. Some of them are awful, but some of them are great.
Yeah.
It's a real mixed bag. We just I want to dig into this a little bit more. We just blew the doors off this key. Do you have a few more minutes for some more questions? Perfect.
Yeah, I got time.
Let me just say thank you so much to the group. Thank you so much. And okay, let's if you're listening to the show and you're watching and you're like, I don't want to hear any more about this food, skip ahead a few minutes because we're gonna be we're gonna talk about food a little bit more. All right, so you realized, okay, I need to eat more. I'm gonna eat more of the things that I like. Where do the recipes come from?
Usually Pinterest, or actually there's like a ton of AI stuff on Pinterest now, so it hasn't been as usable, but Instagram and YouTube Shorts are really good for recipes too.
Okay. And do you go in like, is it just like you're just browsing and whatever catches your eye, or do you go in with like, I want to find a good dish with fish? Do you go hunting for things, or is it just what comes at you?
Usually I'll just, like, if I'm on Instagram or whatever, if I see something, I'm like, ooh, that seems like something I would like. I'll save it and then I'll come back to it when it sounds good or sounds better. But sometimes I will go searching for specific things.
Okay. I dig it. We're going to round up the food questions, I promise. Can you tell us the lore behind the wooden bowl?
Yeah, I have 4 of them actually, 4 little ones and a big one. And my grandmother had passed a few years ago now, so we were doing kind of like the the post-death process with splitting up all of her things because my aunt moved into her house, so we were trying to clean it out at the same time.
Mhm.
And the bowls were set out, and I was like, "Hey, can I take these?" And my mom was actually telling me that the big salad bowl, there's one big salad one, and there's 3 little ones, and then there's like one little one that's kind of an odd one out. I don't think it was part of the set,
Okay.
but I just took them, and she was like, "Yeah, we used to do like big salads in these," and it was nice that both my grandmother had still had them and that my mom remembered them and that I was able to take them for my family.
I think that's great. I love them. I love that it's been passed down. You can actually feel the family and the food. It's great. I mean,
Yeah.
all of your posts are great. Your monk tips and tricks where you're teaching people how to fly, which we should talk about. How do you figure out how to fly? All that
I was
great.
so excited about that.
Yeah, and then you're like, here's how to fly, and then it was like a series of like, oh, hold on, here's other ways to fly. So how
It's
did you?
like, oh, it's so good. There's so many things where I'm like, oh, a DH can do this, or now a Voker can do this. Like, can I also do this? If I can get high enough is usually the limiting factor. Is if I can start from a high enough point, then I can usually make it. But there's a lot of skips going over walls or going sometimes through stuff.
Mhm.
There hasn't been too much of that, but just being able to get line of sight on things is also really like a big thing for keys, I think, is if you're trying to do skips or pulls, just being able to manipulate your character more than maybe other specs can.
Okay, I love that. You just like, I want to do this thing. I'm going to conquer. It seems like a theme for your life. You're like, this is a thing I want to do. I'm just going to get great at it,
I'm just
and now I
gonna do
want to
it.
fly.
Yes.
Can you sort of walk me through your content creation process? Like, when do you decide to stream versus make a video? How does all of that work together?
Streams are usually a little bit more like discovery angle. Like I'll stream beta keys and I'll just kind of try a bunch of different stuff and I'll talk through it and I'll try things I like and I don't like. And then people will come in and like, what do you think about this? And they'll ask like 15 times, which is fine because that's like the point. But those things are usually what will make it into a video where it's like, okay, what feels good? What feels bad? What do I want to see in the next build? For beta as an example. There's mostly like a lot of the FAQ stuff gets turned into a video.
Okay. That makes sense. Questions you see a lot of, you're like, okay, this is what people are asking. This is what they need to know. And then,
Yeah.
so you're doing YouTube, you're writing guides. At what point did you decide to launch the website, Way of the Crane, correct?
Yeah, that was a new project. I had a Google Doc for most of my time doing content creation. The guide was a written version in a Google Doc. But when we got the new talent trees and you couldn't as easily like show people like, hey, this is what the string is going to import. Images in Google Docs is awful. It's like Word, where they just shift all over and it looks different
Yeah.
for everyone and it's a pain. So I was like, I need to figure out a different way to do this because this is really annoying. So I'm not like a software engineer or dev or anything, but it's been fun to learn little bits here and there.
Okay.
Most of it is pretty user friendly because it's like a Squarespace website. So a lot of the custom code, I either had my boyfriend or other friends help, or there's like template type things where it's like, okay, here is this feature or this embed or whatever that you can kind of like shortcut through so that I don't have to make it from scratch, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. How often do you keep it updated mid-season? Or is it like something you can just sort of set and forget at the start of the season?
Um, I'll usually do a big update for if there's changes for a new patch. New expansion gets pretty big updates, and then if things change, like if we get major tuning cycles, I'll make changes and I'll make an announcement. But most of the time, things don't shift too much,
Mhm.
at least with like the main build. Sometimes things change really drastically, but that's usually a raid problem. So I haven't had to deal with that too much yet.
Okay.
Not for keys.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed that maintains.
Yeah,
um,
I'm hoping.
yeah. The design of your thumbnails which are arguably my favorite thumbnails on YouTube,
Oh,
like period.
thank you.
Not even just in Warcraft space, but just across the board. And the website, it's like a very unique and it's all one unified design, like your aesthetic. How was that process coming up with that? Like, because you really nailed the feeling of monk. I look at this and I think, oh, monk.
Monk. I picked, so the colors were obviously based off of the Monk spring green color that we have, but it's such a hard color to read on like anything because it's so bright. So I was like, okay, I need like a pastel version, I need a darker version, and then like a mid-tone color for just for contrast so you can actually read it. And I did end up having to change them a couple of times after I launched it because people were like, hey, I have, like a visual impairment. I can't really tell what this says because of the colors. So I ended up changing some of them to give it some more contrast. But my main thing was that like I wanted it to be identifiable. I wanted people to know like this is Monk. Even if it's not specifically Mistweaver, there's some like Diffuse or Tiger's Lust or other Monk things on there. So I wanted that to be easily identifiable and then just easy to read and easy to follow. Because I don't like when I have to search for like multiple pages to find one thing, or I don't like when like one topic is in like 6 different spots. I just want it all in one place, please.
Right. I don't want to go to 7 vendors to get my Bellameth.
Yeah.
My Bellameth decor.
I just want it all to be in one place where it's mentioned once and that's it.
Yeah, I like that. Very user friendly. You were focused on the user experience. I like that. That's great. So I have to know, look, Mythic Plus, raid, content creation, streaming, website development, your food, blogging, you're so good at all of these things. What do you struggle with? Like what in game or even out of game, I guess, what do you struggle with? You seem to excel at everything else.
Motivation sometimes. Like
Okay.
I kind of take breaks during like the lulls where I don't make videos and I'm not really playing and I don't feel like streaming. So I'm just kind of like waiting for something to do. Or there's a new build and I'm like, I have 7 videos ready to upload. And then I'm impatient. So I'll do like 2 a day, even though the algorithm doesn't like that.
Right.
So it's like the ebb and flow of content creation. And I don't do a very good job of filling in the low periods with something that's maybe out of my wheelhouse. Because most of my content is educational. I don't do a ton of like fluff or entertainment stuff, which I should do more of, but I have a hard time. Like, I'm like, people won't want to watch that. That's not why they watch my videos. So the motivation is probably the hardest part sometimes.
You really believe that?
Yeah, there's like people like, oh, do a 0 to hero, and I'm like, I wouldn't watch a 0 to hero. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that people would want.
I think a lot of you viewers come for the Mistweaver knowledge and stay for the Meg, is my guess. So if you did a 0 to hero, yeah, they would probably watch. I can't be certain, but
yeah. Maybe depends on what it was. Probably not if it was Druid.
Yeah, definitely not Druid. Don't do Druid. No, you should do Holy Paladin and then have Ellesmere do Mistweaver, and you guys can see who gets hero first.
We could do that. I haven't played Pally in a long time since like I think Shadowlands was the last time I played it, like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, there you go. There's your lull. It's I think it's okay to have lulls. The game has lulls. It's okay for you to have lulls in your content creation, I believe. What do you do in those lulls? So when you're not playing, you're not doing content. What are you doing? Are you just meditating?
Just hanging out. Yeah. Nothing. Hanging out with the dogs.
That's it. All right. That's okay. Dogs are the best of us. All right.
Yeah.
Let's shift in. We're gonna open up the midnight door now. We're not focused on a key. We have the ability to talk here and really dive in. We're heading into midnight. Now we've heard a lot of healers with a lot of things to say. Before we go into specifics, what's your overall takeaway on how midnight is looking at this point?
God, where do I start? I love new expansions and I really want to enjoy the new content. I am on board with their goals. I am in agreement that, add-ons maybe got a little out of hand and WeakOrs were maybe doing too much, but I don't agree with the way that they're going about it or the speed that they're going about it. It all feels very like, hey, we're going to do this thing. It's a long-term goal. Oh, also, we're doing that right now, actually. We changed our minds. And it's like, oh, all right, sure. You're doing all this in three months when we thought it was going to be like a multi-year process. That's fine. I'm sure that'll be okay. So I don't think, and I say they, This is more of like a criticism of the business structure that is,
Right.
what we are beholden to. But I don't think they've given themselves enough time to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Probably to no fault of the devs, but more of just like, hey, fourth quarter, let's go, So,
Right.
not their fault, but it is something that they are now having to deal with.
Yeah. Now, when you say fourth quarter, you mean in a business sense and not a football term.
Yes, yeah. Not well versed in either of those things, but I
Yeah.
hear it thrown around quite a bit.
Yeah. Meg is not saying the game is almost over.
No, no, no. The
Yeah.
year is, and they have to make money.
That's right. That's right. All right, let's dig into some of the nitty-gritty then. So obviously big changes coming, big philosophy changes, design of classes, design of dungeons and raids, and the removal of in-combat add-ons for the most part. We agree with the goal. We're nervous about getting there on time. What are your biggest pain points right now on the beta as it stands as a healer?
As a healer, overall, the frames are pretty bad. You've seen people talking about it. I haven't been keeping up with the add-ons that are in the game right now for beta.
Mhm.
I didn't want to get into it and then have them change a bunch of stuff and then have to redo it. So I haven't been on top of it probably as much as I should be, but I'm just worried about lack of customization for abilities because I know like Ellesmere loves audio cues. I
Mhm.
hate audio cues. So it's
Yeah.
great that in the current game we can both change our UI to accommodate how our brains process information. But I am worried about not being able to have that freedom in Midnight.
Right.
That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. Lucky for you, they're locking it into visual cues, so you don't have
Yeah.
Ellesmere's
there
losing
is audio
his.
cues for the cooldown manager, I think, has audio cues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, why can't you just have that everywhere throughout the game? But that's fine.
Yeah.
There's just some weird decision making happening with stuff like that.
Yeah, it's strange because we hear like, oh, some things are like classified as, oh, we think that's a competitive advantage, and it's like, wow, how is me knowing whether or not I can get a life cocoon a competitive advantage? I just want to know if I could
Yeah.
be hamster balled, sir.
Being the hamster ball. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of that Nintendo game, I think,
Uh,
where you were in hamster balls the whole. I don't even remember.
oh wow.
That was a weird memory to proc, but what was that? It was like Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. Wow,
I
that's
liked the little baby.
Nintendo could sue Warcraft for
Yeah.
stealing the idea of life cocoon.
We used to play that a lot.
That's funny. I haven't heard of that. I haven't thought of Super Monkey Ball in forever. That was a fun proc.
Yeah.
Okay, so raid frames. We're worried about raid frames. You spent a lot of time in the dungeons on the beta. How are the dungeons feeling? Because Wowhead says they're great.
Great.
Well, sorry, they had an article with kicks.
Yeah, the kick thing was interesting because like if you played a lot early in the week for the first set of testing, you're like, oh my god, there's so many bolts. And then they hotfixed it like midweek. So if you didn't do anything the second half, you're like, okay, this is exactly the same as live.
Yeah.
And it's still similar. There still is a lot of casts. You're just not dying to them if they go off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Okay.
Like, it might just be because I'm so used to like, there is a cast. If you don't stop it, you're gonna die. That's kind of been the way that things have been going for like 2 expansions now.
Okay.
And that changing is fine, but it's infinitely scaling content. So those bolts are going to start to hurt eventually. And I don't know if we're going to get to that point where we just have to stop them all, or if like timer or DPS is going to be the limiting factor for keys. I'm not sure yet, but I am worried about that.
Do you, if they nail everything else, but the result is keys are just capped at a lower level than they are now, would you consider that a win?
I don't know.
It's a tough question. I'm sorry. You're still thinking
Yeah.
about Super Monkey
No,
Ball,
it's
aren't you?
fine. I am. I don't think that just limiting key level because you're just going to blow up if you don't have enough kicks, I don't think that I would consider that a success. I think that would
feel awful.
I think that would turn people away from keys because you're like, oh, it's the same, except now I just can't even try to go further because we don't have the tools anymore.
Right.
And I think that would be bad.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a loss of information that we're getting in Midnight that, it's not just a question of people, removing weak ores or losing audio cues and stuff like that, but we're losing the ability to track our party members' cooldowns and our party members' interrupts or external defensives, and also the next upcoming big attack from an NPC, which we get now through bigwigs. And all of this is really going to affect, I mean, the raid will be affected, but I think it's going to affect Mythic Plus at a much higher level.
Yeah.
If Blizzard is listening, what would you say to them to like try and save the concern, like to try and get ahead of it?
There are certain things that can be considered what they're calling it, like a cybernetic enhancement or something.
Yeah,
there's some things that
cognitive. I don't remember. Yeah, I like cybernetic enhancement. Let's go with that.
I think that's what they were saying. I can't remember exactly, but there's some things that can be considered advantages gained through weak auras or for add-ons, but there are also some things like cooldown uptime or defensive uptime that is just, it's necessary information, and we need access to that in some capacity. And I think a lot of it is just like, most people, maybe it doesn't impact, but once you start getting like current level, like 16-ish, you need to know if people have buttons or if you need to use something as a healer. And not having access to that, if you're not in comms, like most people aren't, I think it's just going to be really detrimental.
Yeah. It could potentially negatively punish pugs that aren't in comms.
Yeah.
So then
I think it will affect pugs more than it will competitive players, which is not good because that's most people are pugging.
Yeah.
That's a majority of the player base. So
yeah. And there's a lot of people who just don't want to get in Discord because WoW players are weird. Like I can understand, like I don't want to get in voice comms with you. You're strange.
I just want to chill.
Yeah.
Just want to press my buttons.
Yeah. Please don't make me talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's interesting to see. I do think that Mythic Plus area is going to get hit the hardest. Do you think, so there's sort of this theme online that we're leveling the playing field. Do you think, as one of the best players in the world, are you now in danger of being on par with someone who has never gotten title?
I saw a comment like that this morning it was on Twitter, and they're like, oh, it's leveling. I think it was a JB tweet. They're leveling the playing field. I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
You can get all of the things that I have right now for free. I have them on my website on purpose, so you can also use them. That's not the difference. The difference is that I play this game as a job. I am on a lot, right? I'm on more than the average player, and it's a time commitment game. Like that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
If it was like paid features, I know some people will paywall their UI, but it's not like you couldn't just recreate it yourself if you really wanted that information, right? So I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's evening this out. It's like, no, it is widening the gap, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because I still have infinite time to play all day long while you're at work.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. It's WoW is a time commitment game in the end.
Yeah.
And the more time you have, the more time you'll have to improve the game, and that's kind of all it is.
That's the way it breaks down. All right. I do want to be cognizant of your time, so I have one last question. Well, two, but the last one is sort of an open-ended one. So 2 questions, but one real question at the end. You've built this community of, like, you have like this very wholesome, cozy vibe. You are, I think I called you Warcraft's wholesome queen before the show started. And I don't know if that was like intentional or if that's just who you are, that's your personality. But what is your favorite, like what's your most heartwarming memory or moment as a streamer, in this space that you've created where it's generally toxic free, despite your character name being toxic?
People ask about that a lot. They're like, are you mean? And I'm like, no, the lore there is actually that the name was originally just the TOIX. It was just a random character that I had leveled because I had 1,000 alts, and I just picked it one day, and then I server transferred and I lost it. And everyone thought that my name was toxic anyway, so I'm just like, okay, that's my name now. We're going with that. But I had one instance where I was casting the race for pieces and for BDG. It was for Sepulcher, which was not a great one to cast because of the issue with splits and everything. But one of my friends and one of my mods had made a post about how proud of me that he was because he had been there since literally day one, and he's like, "You're just like a Mistweaver doing keys, and now you're casting for these guilds," and I'm just like, "Aw." I think I have it pinned somewhere in my Discord, but I was like, "Yeah, I have come a long way, haven't I?"
I love that. That is great. You have, like, seriously, you are, like, you're one of the pillars of the Warcraft community, a good person, a good player, and an amazing content creator. So we are better for having you. Now my last question, which is an easy one. What does the future hold for Meg?
Hopefully keep doing this as long as I can. I gotta go back to school at some point. I'd like to get my degree in something. But I recognize that this is not something that everyone gets to do for, in general, but especially as a job. So I'm gonna do it for as long as I can.
I like that.
Take advantage of it.
What, not that I want to rush you back to school. What would you focus, like, what would you go to get a degree on? Do you have any ideas?
I initially, like, fresh out of high school, I went to a JC and I got my associates in criminal justice. And then I decided I did not want to do that for the rest of my life. So I swapped to a bio degree, and with the intention of going into vet med. But I started that process for that degree over COVID. So, like, my base bio and my base chem classes were entirely online, and that was not a way that I was succeeding, because that doesn't come naturally to me. The science and the math is something I definitely have to work harder on. But also being remote, I was just like, maybe I should wait. And then my college, I was living in California still at the time, and I'm in Washington now, but it took quite a bit of time to move. And then over COVID, my college being in Washington was like, "Hey, we're not doing online anymore." And I was like, "Oh,
yikes.
Okay, cool. I'm 2 states away." So that stopped there, and I need to go back. But yeah, taking advantage of content creation while I can.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you're familiar with Dottie Lou. She's a tank. She's on Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, she's awesome.
In veterinary medicine. So you guys could tank, and you could be a tank and healer combo who are both
duo.
Yeah, both vets and title. That's crazy.
I'd be down. She plays monk too. It's a sign.
Yeah. She I think she plays a bit of everything, but yeah, she that would be great. I'm signing up for that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the Ellesmere and Megasett 0 to Hero class swap, and Megan Dottie duo. Yeah, Megan Dottie duo. I like it.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Meg, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's fun.
You really are like a bright light in the community, so it's good anytime we get a chance to speak. Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
All of my socials are at Megasett for Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. All the same handle. All easy. In one.
Oh, that was the easiest.
I got lucky with that.
Yeah. That's great. And listeners, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I appreciate you hanging out with us. If you want to race against us in our Dawnbreaker, our Mythic Plus replay link will be in the description of the video or podcast if you're listening to this. And there's also a handy link in there that tells you how to add it to your own game so that you can race against our time. Good luck, though. We did pretty good. And we will be back next week with another guest. But until then, remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.